Hello. So today I'm going to talk about why your macarons are slanted. If you've never made macarons before, go watch this video first and it will show you step by step how to make macarons. And then if you're still kind of getting slanted macarons and they look good everywhere else, but they just have a little bit of a lopsided or part of the macarons not getting feet, watch this. So first of all, if you've seen my other videos where I talk about troubleshooting and things that could be wrong with your macarons, my number one tip is to get an oven thermometer to make sure that the temperature is actually what you think it is in the oven. So if you have done that and you've checked it for hot spots and you know that it's pretty consistent, this might not be your problem, but if you haven't done that, you could have hot spots in your oven and that could be causing the slanted macarons if only some of them are slanted. So if that's the case, try rotating your tray halfway through. Okay, but this also you have to make sure that you're not baking more than one tray at a time if something like this is happening. So if you are baking 2 trays at a time, I definitely wouldn't do that when you're first starting out, but if you're getting slanted macarons, that could be why. Even if you don't have hot spots in your oven and you're getting slanted macarons, you could still try rotating. That's another tip I suggest is just rotating it halfway through. Try that anyway, even if you don't have hot spots. If you're learning something from this video and you want to see more like it, hit the subscribe button below and the bell next to it to be notified whenever I come out with a new video. Okay, now another reason you could be getting lopsided macarons is if you're letting them dry too long. So some people aren't even letting their macarons dry at all, which is fine if that works for you. But if you have to let them dry like I do and you live in more of a humid environment and you need them to sit out and get that skin to form over the top so it's a little harder, if you leave them out too long, that can cause maybe a lopsided shell, but that would more likely be, you would probably be able to tell if that was happening because your first tray would be fine and then your second, third, fourth tray, those would be ones that were really slanted. If that's the case, try not resting them as long, but also if your first tray is great and your second, third, and fourth are slanted, that could also be because you're not letting the oven come back up to temperature after you take the macarons from your first tray out. So if you have your oven up to temperature according to your oven thermometer and you put a tray in, timer goes off, take it out, put it on the rack, grab another one, put it right in, you've let a lot of air escape, a lot of that hot air come out of the oven and it's not at the temperature you want it to be. So before you add in the tray, the second tray, shut the oven and let it get back up to temperature according to your oven thermometer. Because you need it to get hot right away. You don't want it to kind of have that lower temperature from letting all the air out. Okay, another reason why your macarons are lopsided could be something to do with the pan that you're baking them on. If you have a tray with edges that are raised along the sides, that could be a problem, especially if your the lopsided macarons are around the edge. So if that's happening, you just might not be getting enough airflow to those macarons. And if you don't want to buy new sheets, either buy new sheets with no raised edges or flip those over and put your parchment or slip mat on the other side so there's no raised edges to get in the way of the airflow of the oven. So that is something you could try. And if your sheets are kind of warped and not totally flat, because after a while, some baking sheets start to get like bumps in them and stuff. That could be causing some of your slanted macarons. Kind of make note of where the slanted macarons are on the sheet every time. If they're in the same spots, that's kind of a good thing because then you can think, okay, it's either my oven or my baking sheets and it's not you. Now, this is something I recommend if you live in a humid climate to put a fan on them if they're still not drying. But if you put a fan on them, if you have that fan just on one part of the pan and it's not kind of rotating or it's just it's blowing on one part of the pan too much, that could lead to slanted macarons. So if you notice that every time you put them in the oven, this one side of the pan is hit by the fan pretty close. But if that's the case, maybe rotate it or put it on different parts throughout the drying process. Or pull it back. Don't let it sit so close to the macarons. Okay, and another reason your macarons could be lopsided could be the way you're piping them. So if you're kind of piping them from an angle, that could cause kind of a slanted macaron, or it's just not setting up the right way. But go watch this video if you want to know how you can pipe them up and down so you don't have to worry about that being the problem. That's probably not the problem, but it's definitely something to get right just in case. And like I've said in my other troubleshooting videos, just do one thing at a time. And don't do all of these tips at once. Just try each one in different times until you get it right so you know what the problem is. Okay, and if you want to start or grow your home bakery business, join the email list below. I have a course called the Home Bakery Blueprint where you can work with me to start or grow your own home bakery business. So if you like baking these and you want to start selling them, go join the email list below and I will send an email out as soon as more spots open up. And if you still have questions about how to make macarons or you just want to show off your macarons, join the Michelle's Macarons Facebook group and you can post your picture of your macarons or questions in there and we'll all help you out. It's almost at 10,000 people now. That is a lot of macaron bakers, but there's almost, as I'm videoing this, I think there's like 9,300 people in there. So if you have a problem, it'll get fixed. So post your pictures in there along the way, the process, and then we'll all help you succeed with your macarons. Okay, and if you'd like, I will put a link to my Facebook and Instagram below if you want to follow me there. Okay, check out these other macaron videos. Okay, love you, bye.